Hi everyone, and welcome. Today we're gonna try a game called Blind Man. I don't know why. I thought that looks um, interesting. I'm sorry about the sound, and if you get your ears raped sometimes. I'm not home, so I don't have my mic with me. So yeah, I'm just recording everything with my dad's laptop. Yeah, that's the best you can do, and I think it's actually all right. All right. So, Blind Man. I really don't know what to expect. I hope this game's gonna be fun. From what a few screenshots that I've seen, I expect some jokes there, and I really hope they're gonna be good. But that's just my expectations. So I don't know if it's gonna be mad. Let's see. Also, are they really blind? It's gonna be interesting to see. Man eater. Oh, hi. It's already released. Sorry. Okay, I already like it. um, I didn't even get that it was a menu. Good job. Preferences. Message. Oh my god. English. Yes. Auto forward. What do you mean there is a setting? If the settings for auto forward, how does it work? Massive after choices. Stop skipping. I guess. Voices in Spanish. Wait. Ah, so voices are only in Spanish. Okay, I didn't know about that. Positions. Do we want Spanish? Well, I guess it's better with voices than with none. Yeah, okay, I'll leave the settings as is. So let's just check out games now. Keegan, where's the sound? Where's you were promised, or was it off? I let's. It's on. It's on. You're lying to me, game. When I was 7, I was sent to live with my uncle. I had just lost my parents to a car accident, the same one that left the right side of my face disfigured. The right side of your face looks fine. I only see that there's something with your eye, and only maybe because it's covered. He did his best to make me feel welcome, but it wasn't enough. Bullied by my peers and ignored by people that were supposed to help me, I didn't fit in anywhere. And I spent most of my childhood thinking that it was somehow all my fault. Um, is there supposed to be no music and, again, voices? Even though it's set on, maybe it's just because it's thoughts, not real speech. Okay. Noah, don't. One day after I came home crying, my uncle pulled me aside and said to me, "People are fools, Keegan. Blinded by their own stupidity, they seek to destroy what they don't understand. This is so damn true. But people like you and me, we're different. We're better. Never forget that. Thinking that you are better is also not. I mean, you should just ignore when people are being douches. They're definitely suffering enough already because It's probably mostly because of their insecurities inside anyway. I'm sorry, my cat is going crazy. Noah, what is this? Oh my god, can you believe this cat is 18 years old? Yeah, she is. And she's climbing like a kitten. Are you happy? Okay. At that moment, it all became clear. I finally understood that I had to do what I had to do. I'd follow my uncle's footsteps and I'd show them. Uh, are you some kind of I think he's gonna be like a agent or something. So what do you think? I'm only missing the essay section of the application. Oh, we get the music. I don't know why the league even asks for one. There's nothing particularly evil about good grammar. Wait, so you're gonna be an on an evil side? Okay. I laughed nervously at my own bad attempt of making a joke. The League of Evil is the highest authority when it comes to criminal activity around the world. They can make or destroy a supervillain's career with a single word, or even those that don't answer to them know better than to oppose them. Membership is for life, and vacancies are rare and far and in between. Okay. Even getting the opportunity to apply is difficult enough. I'm perfectly confident in my ability to deliver a flawless application, of course, but one can never be too sure. No one. Which is exactly how I ended up asking one of my uncle's henchmen for his opinion on my application. It's about henchmen. Okay. It's about passion. Common criminals are a dime dozen, but being a supervillain requires true dedication. Claps his hands together in excitement. It's almost as enthusiastic as I am about the idea of me getting to join the League, which makes the fact that I have no idea of what his name is rather embarrassing. Damn, talking to a person that you don't remember name of. How damn... yeah, I can relate to it too well. Like 90% of people I get to talk a job, I don't know what their names are. I'm sorry, people. I just... it's my memory. But maybe I just don't care. It's not that I don't care, but maybe I do. It's just that after a while, henchmen just sort of blend in together. Yeah, you know what? They're all the same. Exactly. During training, we all show the video of the boss's speech at the Allied Nations. It was wonderful. Half the room was in tears by the end of it. Aren't you supervillains? You're not supposed to cry, I think. It's one about how powerful countries abuse the world system of their organization to legitimize their actions, isn't it? I've seen it too, it's really good. It's not for nothing that human resources makes all the new recruits watch it. Just a sec. In just a few words, you can really feel what the boss is about. What makes him different from all the other supervillains out there. It reminds me of how soldiers at the base in MGS react to Solid Snake. Not Solid Snake, sorry, to Big Boss. They're ready to cry and look into his mouth when he's talking. You don't need to worry so much, right from the heart, and you'll do fine. Besides, you're Sphinx's nephew. It runs in the family, he said so himself, didn't he? I groan. Two groans. Don't even start. It's bad enough that people think I only got to the opportunity because of him in the first place. The last thing I want is for it to actually be true. Getting into the league by my own merits is the only way I'll ever be taken seriously as a villain. By them and by everyone else. Not to mention, he has this weird idea about how spending all my time down here is not good for me. It's not something recent either. Because intelligence agencies were always looking for my uncle. We never stayed too long in one place. As a result, I was homeschooled for most of my life. So you lack some socialization skills? But ever since I finished my high school studies 3 years ago, he's been trying to get me to enroll in college. An actual college with other normal people. At first it was just subtle hints and the occasional comment, which I accepted as his way of showing he cared about my future. However, since last month, he has been bringing a bunch of pamphlets home. He went as far as outright telling me that if I was having problem choosing, I should study engineering like he did. But I thought he was a super willing. Speaking of the boss, where are you planning to tell him? When? Or what? Never mind. I have managed to keep the application process a secret for the better part of a year. But it can't remain that way forever. As proud as it makes me that I hasn't found out yet, I'm no fool. He hasn't. He didn't found. Okay. I know that luck has played at least some part in it. Besides, I mean it when I told the henchman that my uncle is my biggest inspiration. His approval would mean a lot to me. The next time I see him, I suppose. It will be better if he hears it from me now and not from the league after I get accepted. He hates being left out, and considering what I'm planning, he might just have a stroke. How old is he? Well, here's your chance. He's heading your way. I mean, our way. Oh shit. What? Who's not supposed to come back until tonight? Henchman shrugs. I turn around and see my uncle walking through the door. He was never been a particularly aggressive man, but he looks even more serious than usual. Good morning, boss. Pretty sure it's not Big Boss. The henchman salutes him, and my uncle distances him with a nod. As he leaves, he silently mouths a good luck in my direction. Traitor. You're early. Sphinx. He does look like one. There was an explosion in the lab. There's a toxic material everywhere, and since it will take the cleanup crew a few hours to get rid of, I told everyone to go home for the day. He's the best boss in the world. Can I work with you too? I look down and notice that his clothes are stained with some kind of black substance. Shit, man, you should have changed. Instinctively, I take a step back. I would take like hundreds of thousands. He looks down as well, shakes his head, and waves his hand in a dismissive gesture. This is just oil. I was working on some of my old prototypes when I was informed of the explosion. Anything I can help with, boss? No. I want to clear up some space in the storage room. I'll get rid of whatever I can get in working condition. Cleaning is great. Decluttering also. And how many times do I have to tell you that you don't need to call me that? Sorry, I spent so much time with the henchman, it rubs off after a while. Among other things. Uncle? Really? That was years ago and it only happened once. What? As far as I know, only because he got eaten by a shark, because it could happen again. Wait, what? Yes. At the time the feeding cage malfunctioned, and our perfectly trained sharks decided to have him for lunch instead. What an unfortunate coincidence. The corner of his lips quirks up in an amused smile. I barely resist the urge to roll my eyes. I'm getting wrong impression here. What kind of game I'm playing? Okay. And I mean, it's just because of that. One of the screens in the beginning that looked wrong. Okay, we'll see. Have you had time to go through the pamphlets? The entrance exams begin next month, so you have to submit your papers as soon as possible. I spoke with Madame Mantis. She said that if you're interested in moving to America, she'd be happy to help with anything you need. Ever since she retired, she has amassed quite a bit of contacts in the Board of Education. In fact, if you get everything else ready before next Friday, she'll personally write you a recommendation letter. I've met her a couple of times. She was a proper villain, the kind of woman that never does things out of the kindness of her heart, meaning that he either asked her for a favor or she owed him one. Either way, I bet he's only telling me this, so I feel pressured into enrolling. I'm glad that you brought it up because I've been meaning to talk with you about that. You have? Does that mean that you've chosen the college already then? Not exactly. Not exactly. Keegan cut to the chase. What if I didn't want to go to the college? He stares at me in silence for what feels like an eternity. Finally, he closes his eyes and begins to rub his temples. I've been over this before. I mean, You need to do something with your life. You do a good job around here, but you can't keep running around with a henchman forever. Wait, just hear me out. The reason I don't want to go to college is because I want to become a supervillain, just like you. In fact, I've already contacted the league. They think I've got a lot of potential, Uncle. They're just waiting for me to submit my full application. They probably think so because you're his nephew. When did you even have the time to do that? I save it, that's not important. Helping me out and being an actual supervillain are two completely different things. The league's application process is infamously hard for a reason, Keegan. Many people have died trying to impress the council. Why do you even want to be one? Uncle, please. I've gone through the curriculum of every major college in the world. Several times, actually. They've got nothing to teach me. I could go straight to a doctorate for about every field I'm interested in. Seriously, he's that smart? How old is he? Why should I waste my time with frivolities when I could be doing something that actually matters? You are the one that always says that people just don't know what's best for themselves. Well, I do. Besides, I've been helping you out particularly my whole life. I'm not making an uninformed decision. I know exactly what I'm getting myself into. Are you sure about this? I've never been more sure about anything. Have you decided how are you going to call yourself? Do you have base of operations? What about a plan? How are you going to pay for everything? Do you remember the weapons dealer that sold you the parts you were missing for the death ray? Turns out that he also handles mercenary contracts, and he comes highly recommended in that regard. He said that he would lend me one of his bases and some people if I went over a couple of the blueprints his scientists are working on. I know it's not ideal, but it would only be for a day or two. After I'm accepted in the league, I'll have enough resources to get my own. Crosses his arms. He was standing there with crossed arms like whole time. And there's another moment of silence. If you are serious about this, I won't be the one to stop you. But you are going to do this properly. Call the weapons dealer and tell him that you won't be needing his services anymore. You'll use my lair and my man. We'll draft a contract, and if anybody asks, you rented them. Thank you, Uncle. I promise I won't disappoint you. Of course you won't. Now come. Tell me more about your plan. Okay, a month later, location National Museum of Science, Germany. Okay, are we on the mission? I hope. Because I want some action now. There's probably I need to, I mean, it's obviously a novella kind of game, so no action, but you know what I meant. I pretend to adjust a strand of hair behind my ear, pressing the button on my earpiece to increase the volume. Henchman. Boss. I'm in the control room. Oh, that music. I'm taking... It's really quite loud. I hope... Oh, never mind. You probably still hear me, hopefully. I've taken care of the security recordings. The police won't find anything of use in any of them. The men are all in their posts and ready to go, too. They'll be waiting for your signal. I'll stay here for a little longer to keep an eye on things. Please, let me know if you understood. You know what? But... does he see me? I mean, okay. Alright. See you in the auditorium, boss. I know. Alright, see... Excuse me? Why did he say this twice? As an aspiring supervillain, particularly one hoping to join the League, there are two things to be taken into account when it comes to carrying out plans. Visibility and chance of success. Just like there is no point in doing something so uninspired that it barely makes it to the local news, there is no point in getting arrested on national television. Finding balance is key, and that's exactly why I've chosen Bonn's National Museum of Science as my target. It's a beautiful place. I just like its research, and just like its research center hosts many important scientists. Its world is home to a lot of rare and expensive equipment. Oh, so you're gonna just rob it? Very evil. Despite that, under normal circumstances, there wouldn't be anything particularly worth stealing here. But starting today, the museum will be hosting the Schultz-Holt collection of rare minerals, its main piece being the famous Angelo diamond, whatever. Besides being one of the largest cut precious stones known to man, its purity and chemical composition make it one of the most versatile energy conductors in the world. In addition to the exhibit itself, the museum board has also invited Professor Schultz to give a conference at the end of the inauguration party. Schultz is both a geologist and political activist, and he is greatly respected in both fields. To make sure that no other villain interferes, I told both the League and my uncle that I'd be planting bombs in the museum and holding the guests hostage for a ransom. Oh, okay, that's evil. Very few people are willing to risk getting blown. up by a first timer after all. I guess. Unless they want to be a superhero. But actually, my real plan is. Oh, wait, what? I didn't. Back? Oh, okay, sorry. I guess I pressed back by mistake. To steal the diamond to kidnap Professor Schultz. I mean, steal the diamond sounds cool, no, but. I mean, kidnapping someone sounds more evil. So, as a public figure involved in politics, Schultz's disappearance will be all the news will talk about for as long as he's missing. Yeah, I'm telling you, kidnappings are hardly my area of expertise, but all things considered, they're pretty straightforward. And it's not like I will have to deal with him for long afterwards in any case. I'm certain that both the Americans and the Russians will be willing to pay a hefty sum to get their hands on him. Of course, it's always Americans and Russians. Figured. If I had to guess, I'd say that they'll want to claim they were the ones that saved him, making the other side look incompetent. Or maybe they'll use the opportunity to get rid of him while the blame falls on someone else. It's a great plan. If I say so myself. If my nerves don't kill me first, that's it. Until Schutz conference begins, there isn't much for me to do except wait. The only reason I got here at the beginning of the inauguration in the first place was in case the henchmen needed me for something. Come on, just let them deal with small things. Unfortunately, that also means that I've had plenty of time to go over the plan in my head and put in all the little details that could go wrong. I had to admit it, but my uncle was right. Being the mastermind of a plan instead of just another person helping out is a completely different experience, obviously. But it doesn't matter. When I join the league, I'll get to tell the story whichever way I want. True, but only, if it works out in the end. If it fails, it fails. None of the boring parts, none of the doubt. Everything was perfect on the first try. If it works out. In the end, I decide to go grab a drink at the bar while I wait. The bar is actually more of a counter in one of the corners of the lobby than its own separate place. It's meant for people who want to get something to drink without having to find place at one of the tables or wait for the servers to take their order. As I approach, the first thing I see is a man surrounded by a small group of people, most of them women. I think I know what kind of game this is. I can get a good look at him from over here, but every once in a while, the whole group's erupts in laughter. After the third or so time that it happens, the bartender walks over from behind the counter and says something to them. He probably asked them to either lower their volume or leave, since the group began to disperse right afterwards. Now by himself, the man takes a seat next to another blonde man. He leans. I think I've seen blonde man on the main picture. Did we? Yes, there is. There is a blind man. You know what? He does look like blind, because you can't say where he looks like, where exactly he looks at. Okay, never mind. Why it's called Blind Man? Main character is blind only by one eye. Okay, he leans back to the chair and begins swinging in back and forth. That's not blonde man. That's Pullman. Okay. So we get introduced to these two characters that are on the poster of the game, so they should be important. Hey, what if it's our scientist? Well, if it was, I think our main character would recognize him because his plan is to steal him. Capture? Never mind. Handsome man. No wonder he was surrounded by women. He's pretty handsome. You know what? Okay, maybe I did have some suspicions on what kind of game this is. But I hope that this one has some jokes. So let's wait for it. Let's wait for punchlines. And the man next to him isn't too bad himself either. Well, actually, they both are okay. Definitely a much better view than what I had of the lobby. A moment passes and the man in the tuxedo says something. They exchange a few words, but the expression on the blonde man's face is so unfriendly that they don't really go beyond that. So they don't know each other because they sit so close to each other. If I thought they do, if looks could kill, I think our main character just fell in love. In any case, I don't have much time to think about it. At that exact moment, the first man turns around and our eyes meet. I look away to see if he'll do the same, but he doesn't. Instead, I can feel him staring at me until I give up and look back. I would still not look back. I'm strong in that. Test me. Happened to me. Like, no matter how long someone will look at me. Nah, I'm not giving up. He makes a gesture at the bartender to order another of whatever he's having. Now, with the additional glass in hand, he approaches, stopping right next to me and leaning against the counter. Damn it. Hi, Hunter. The music. Having fun? From his body language and his accent, I'd say he's American. I wave my hand in a dismissive manner. Not really. Watching the governor try to explain the merits of mineralogy, has been the highlight of my evening so far. These things are usually more lively. Well, as lively as events of this sort can get. Last time there was this professor from Columbia. What was his name? Anyway, he's convinced that Schultz's methodology is faulty, so he always ends up causing the ruckus whenever they meet. But this time, the committee made sure that the guest list is as inoffensive as possible. You didn't hear it from me, of course. Of course. Drink? He raises the glass towards me and I saw him order it. But I didn't see the bartender pour it, so of course I'm not going to accept it. Oh, you're smart. I shake my head and pick up my own glass, almost empty by now, from the counter. No, thank you, I already had one. He shrugs and takes a sip. It's quite good, isn't it? German alcohol's one of the two reasons I'm glad that the Soviets only got to keep half of the country. Wait a second. But I thought vodka is the best thing. What's with... Okay, music is great. And the other one is Germans. By now it's become clear that he's flirting with me. Oh, so you're German? What? Why the game is in Spanish? I'm confused. Never mind. I guess, I don't know, maybe voices in Spanish will work only if you play with language set in Spanish. But that's fine. That's fine since I'm reading it out loud anyway. Whether he's actually doing a good job is a different point altogether. I decide to flirt back, try to get rid of him. Oh sure! Let's play along. Well, two can play the same game. Let's see him put his money where his mouth is. Of course, one of those things is much more fun than the other. He laughs, put down one, I don't know what's funny, but okay, one of the glasses and offers me his free hand. What? Are we gonna dance? I take it and give him a grin in return. What? Handshake, okay. I expected them to start dancing. The handshake lasts a couple of seconds more than strictly necessary, and instead of simply letting go at the end, he slides his fingers across my palm. Sorry. That's just too much. Also, too sexy. I curl my fingers slightly so that they interlock briefly at the end. Oh, that does it. He begins ogling me in what's possible the least subtle manner known to man. Jones, it's a pleasure to meet you. The pleasure is all mine. Don't take this the wrong way, but you look kind of young for an academic. Well, you don't know. This guy is a genius. He knows everything, like, literally. He told that, like, a few seconds ago. Actually, it was a month, but never mind. I'm still an undergrad. I'm hoping for a chance to discuss my thesis with Schultz before I submit it. Don't lie about things like that. Just in case. Asking Schultz for his opinion about an undergrad thesis? That's quite a high bar you've set for yourself. Trust me, you don't even know half of it. So what is it about? In simple terms, I'm researching ways to improve the accuracy of the tools used to locate and harvest petroleum deposits. What's petroleum? It would make extraction quicker, cheaper, and more environmentally friendly. Right now, it's all theory, but I'm pretty sure that my calculations will lead to it being applicable. That's quite impressive. All the better for me. I like them smart. Okay. I like where this is going. With a grin, he puts a hand on my shoulder and leans closer to me until his face is particularly touching mine. Whoa! Wait, that's like too much. His breath feels hot against my ear and mixed with the faint smell of alcohol coming from him. Faint, not faith. It's enough to send a shiver down my spine. You mean, like, I don't know, I don't get turned on by alcohol smell, like, even the least. Okay, I bet that small amount of subscribers I have are gonna be unsubscribing from me from after this video, right? Please don't. Please don't. Maybe we could discuss some of your ideas in private. I'm tempted. So very tempted. But if I miss Schultz, my thesis supervisor will have my head. I take a step back and he lets go of my arm. That's not like, okay, give me a choice. What if I wanted to get private? What a shame. But I understand. Next time then? He picks up the glass, checks down the rest of the drink, and winks at me before turning around and walking away. As soon as he's out of my sight, I let out a sigh. What goal? What's goal? Hell? If I had been anyone else, this could have ended uglily for him. What do you mean? Well, it doesn't matter. I'm not planning to see him again anytime soon. There is a buzzing sound from one of the nearby speakers, and I turn my attention to it. First call. Please proceed to take your seats. The conference will begin in 15 minutes. When the announcement is done, I head towards the auditorium. Okay? Other than the first two rooms, which have been reserved for politicians and the press, the seats are numbered. Terribly inconvenient for people that would rather secure a good place without having to enter early or wait too long in the line for it. On the other hand, it's perfect for someone like me that would rather not have a name attached to their tickets. Well, you could make up a fake name, you're in the League of Super Villains. Well, I guess he's trying to be one yet? I don't know. When one of the ushers takes my ticket, I recognize him as one of my uncle's men, just like the henchman said. He directs me towards a free seat and at the corner of one of the middle rows. Perfect. Nothing would ruin a dramatic entrance like having to ask people to stand up so I can get to the stage. Once I'm at the seat, it quickly becomes obvious why no one had taken it yet. Sitting next to me is the blonde man from the hall, reading the program with an expression on his face just as unfriendly as the one he had back there. Hey, excuse me, is this seat taking? Wow, he has some rough seat in front of him, next to him, while no one desired to do that. He looks at me, shakes his head, and goes back to reading without a single word. Under any other circumstances, I wouldn't care, but come on. He talked to the other man at the bar, and I don't get more than a side glance. You're not as handsome as he was, so it's entirely possible for him to just be some regular guy with bad social skills and poor German, but he didn't even attempt to answer in English either. Well, I mean, not everyone knows English. I decide to give my gut feeling a try and leaning closer to him and lowering my voice so that no one else will hear. I begin to speak to him in Russian. Oh, our guy knows Russian. I've heard that Russians have a lot of trouble getting travel permits nowadays, even those who have never been to the Soviet Union. I can't even imagine how hard it must be for actual Soviets to get out their country. That gets his attention enough to put down the program and turn to face me, asking me, "Are you an idiot?" He looks like he's assessing me and trying to intimidate me at the same time. If I'm completely honest with myself, why am I interested in talking with him? It's because he's handsome. He's something suspicious. Both. Well, he insists on ignoring me, and I hate it because I'm a narcissist. But I'm a villain, and I feel like there's something suspicious about him. It's not uncommon to find Russian expatriates in high-profile events, but in general they are pretty easy to recognize. This man isn't one. So if he's not easy to be recognized as Russian, but you did come to that conclusion somehow. I went through a lot of trouble to make sure no one would interrupt me today, so if there's something out of place about him, I need to know. You don't want anything to interrupt you, but you get to talk to random people. You distract yourself from your job already. Stop doing that. Like, this guy doesn't want to talk to you. Stop it. His name is Sergey. Okay? Very Russian, of course. Me neither. But I imagine it's just about as difficult to as finding someone that will teach you Russian on this side of the world. I'm just so used to talking in English, I can't even make Russian accent. His accent is very thick, even in Russian. What do you mean? His Russian accent is very thick, even in Russian? How does it work? Thankfully, I speak the language fairly well, otherwise I would have regretted my decision as soon as he opened his mouth. As with all things, it's a matter of knowing the right people. Speaking a language won't get you arrested, though. That depends on how you use it. And how do you use it? Who are you? No one of consequence, as long as you don't get in my way. Okay, you're really disguising yourself here. Stop doing that. Now you are getting suspicious. We exchange a look of suspicion. I tell you, before he goes back to reading, not without hesitation. Seems like I'll have to keep an eye on him. Like, I can imagine them sitting the whole time looking at each other in suspicion. Third call. Please remain in okay, sorry. Why am I? Please remain in silence for the duration of the conference. We'd like to remind you that photography is restricted to authorized press. The lights of the room begin to dim until they turn off completely, and the auditorium's only remaining illumination are the spotlights above the stage. A man in a suit appears from the left end of the stage, followed by Professor Schultz. He stops at the podium, and soon any hopes of conversation are drowned by the audience's applause. Please welcome Professor Hans Schultz, head of the Schultz Foundation. There is another round of applause, this time much louder. After a couple of seconds pass, Schultz holds his hand up and the whole room goes quiet. Wow, he's a big man. Well, since I'm trying to steal him, I guess he is. Slowly, the floor next to him begins to open, and everyone watches in awe as the case in which the diamond is kept raises from it. Well, I kind of am upset that I didn't choose to steal the diamond, really, because, but I guess stealing a person is still more interesting, you know? I had seen pictures of it before, of course, but it doesn't compare to seeing it in person. As you all know, Anglo is, I don't know how to pronounce it, so sorry, is amongst the rarest gemstones in the world. Flawless both in its surface and its interior, it allows both heat and electricity to be conducted with minimal dispersion up to... I pressed the button on the side of my watch. I couldn't risk bringing too much equipment on my person, but I managed to fit both a communicator and small laser into my watch. At my signal, the doors burst open and the henchmen appear. Already? Okay. Well, the ones that had been posing as ushers hurried to lock the doors behind them. My uncle only ended up lending me about half a dozen of them. Half a dozen is like 6 men. What? You described much more than like there is this place is huge. There must be at least 4 entrances to this place, at least, and it would need at least 4 people to close the doors. So okay, never mind. So since the people inside have no way to tell, they're more than enough. There are whispers of confusion at first, but the room goes completely quiet when Schultz slams his hand against the podium. What is the meaning of this? Security, get these people out of here. I'm pretty sure this is the only security you have. I stand up and I'm escorted to the stage by that one henchman whose name I should probably know by now. And who cares? While we walk, he goes ahead and hands me the control of the bombs. It's mostly for show since we only wired enough bombs to mess up some of the less important rooms lately, while the rest are decoys set to release smoke. Smart. Of course, they don't know that. There has been a slight change of plans, Professor. As I take the podium, I put down the control in front of me and I signal the henchman to restrain Schultz. They both get off the stage and he leads the professor towards the side of the auditorium. Now I'm Professor.
Damas y caballeros, por favor permanezcan sentados. Si cooperan y hacen exactamente lo que se les diga, nadie saldrá herido.
That's interesting. Now I can hear you, but the music is much louder. And since I'm reading it, I guess it was nice to hear him anyway. Yeah, that's kind of the voice I was expecting actually. So nice voice, by the way. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated. If you cooperate and do exactly as you are told, no one will get hurt. When you look back to this moment in a few years, you'll realize that it was the most important day of your lives. Really? I don't think this moment is related to their lives much. Scientific achievements, political careers, everything you've done will pale in comparison to this instant. And that is because today you'll become part of history. You'll have the honor of witnessing the birth of one of the greatest supervillains known to man, Dr. Cyclops. Because you have one eye. Okay. Really? That's interesting idea for the story, actually. How the supervillain becomes one. He's so young yet. Okay. As of right now, you also have the honor of being my hostages. Hopefully the government values your lives. I'm briefly interrupted by the sound of talking coming from amongst the seats. I decide to ignore it and continue. Enough to pay the... That happens again. I stop speaking and begin to look over the crowd, searching for the source of the interruption. Most of guests have either a look of fear or discomfort in their faces, and some of them even shake their heads when they notice me looking at them. What do I have henchmen for if they can't even keep people from talking at the same time as me? Wait, they don't have microphones like you. Finally, I notice that the henchman is out of place, standing at the end of the row rather than at his place next to Schultz. Only one henchman? You have more. You have half a dozen. He seems to be arguing with someone. I step down from the stage to get a better... I think you should continue your speech, really, and I recognize the other person as the man from the lobby. What are you doing? Sit down. I'm going to the bathroom, unless you want me to get sick all over the floor. Stands up. We don't care, it's not our place, so go ahead. He stands up and gives a few steps forward. Actually, it's more of an awkward stumbling. He looks really drunk. Oh, well, he was at the bar. But he could be also, acting. Because he looks like James Bond. Hey, I said you aren't going anyway. Anywhere, I mean. And anyway, too. The henchman grabs his arm to stop him. Suddenly, the man turns around and punches him square on the nose, knocking him out cold in the process. But you have 5 more henchmen. Where are they? Stepping around the henchman's unconscious body, he puts a hand inside his jacket and takes out a gun. I told you, this guy is a James Bond person. At first, I'm amused by the idea of getting shot by an over-eager drunk. Amused? Wow, man. Get your priorities. But he manages to point it right at me just fine. Agent Hunter, Global. But you're all under arrest. I told you. Shit. People begin to turn to look at him, whispering at each other until the crowd's attention is divided between the two of us. Meanwhile, none of the henchmen move, unsure what to do. The only security on the side was supposed to be the museum's guards and some of the local police stations outside. There was nothing to make us think that an agent of Global would be here, let alone aren't. Some kind of organization of super agents. The henchmen could deal with him through sheer numbers alone, but I need them to keep control of the crowd. If everyone begins to panic, it's not going to be good for any of us. I decided to try and bluff, so I shrug and laugh it off. Yeah, nice try. But you wouldn't risk a shootout in a room full of civilians. We also have bombs here, so be careful with your gun. You don't know where bombs are planted, they can be anywhere. Maybe on my chest too. Or for me to blow this place sky high. Pick up the control and put my index finger on the big red. Way to go, not to stir up the panic, man. See this? My men have put bombs all around the museum. One false move, and I'll push it. With you still inside? No, I don't think so. As for your henchmen, my aim is pretty good, and something tells me none of them want to be the one that gets their boss shot. Guess we'll have to see who's faster. Get him! The henchmen are getting ready to fire when I'm blinded. A flash of white light. Out of instinct, I drop the control and raise my arm to cover my good eye. But the movement makes me lose my balance and I end up falling back. Grenade! Everybody get down! Hold your fire! My vision is blurry so much that I barely see the second flash of light when it goes off. I hear the people begin to scream, but the noise sounds distant, as if I was in another room altogether. It's not much of a relief, but at least that means that they were flash and grenades rather than fragmentation ones. Yeah, or else you wouldn't be feeling anything anymore. It takes a couple of seconds for my eyesight to come back completely and a couple more for me to regain enough strength to be able to stand up. I look around. Half of the henchmen are on the floor covering their ears in pain and the other half still looks too confused to do anything. So you mean like 3 on the floor and 3 confused? Sorry. But like half a dozen is like not much. Upon realizing that no one is blocking their way anymore, the people in the seats begin to run towards the exits in panic, pushing each other and scream. I hope you have a gun. Shoot it in the air. Maybe then they will stop. By the time probably no. The henchmen try to regain control in the situation, the whole room has descended into chaos. In front of me, Agent Hunter points his gun in my direction and begins to approach. Or at least he's trying to. His hand is shaking so much that it's obvious that he's just as disoriented as I am. I frown. If it wasn't him, then who? He looks at me, then at the floor. He stops. And stops. I look down as well and realize why. It's the control. He hurls himself forward and grabs it. I take the opportunity to kick the gun out of his other hand, but he holds onto my leg and pulls me down with him. Oh, we both ended up on the floor trying to wrestle the control out of each other's hands. While Hunter may be stronger, right now I'm the one in better condition, so I managed to hold my own against him. We kept rolling around on the floor until I managed to flip. I wish this was in the cutscene. Has someone ever told you that this is your best angle? What? Stop. Shut up and give it back. As we continue, I wish this was a cartoon series. This has to be one. Um, I noticed somehow it reminds me of that cartoon. To be honest, it doesn't have anything related to this, but there was also some Willings. I remember there was a character called Brock. He was white-haired and very buff, and he was my favorite character in that cartoon. I hope someone remembers it and writes the name in the comments, because I love that cartoon and I need to watch the whole series. It's amazing. Okay. I noticed someone get on the stage out of the corner of my eye. I turned my head and see the blonde man from the lobby walk up and to the diamond's case and lift it up. It's a brief distraction, but it's enough to give Hunter the upper hand. He needs to push me off him. When I fall back, the control is sent flying into the air, and Hunter and me stare at it as it lands right on the detonator. Well, shit. Of course, nothing happens. It's a decoy, isn't it? Shit. Hunter shakes his head in disbelief, wiping a head of sweat from his brow with the back of his hand. But instead of looking angry, he seems rather amused by the whole situation. Having decided that this immediate business with me is done, he runs past me and onto the stage to catch up with the other men. They begin fighting over the diamond right away, trying to keep the other from getting the proper hold on it. They're pretty evenly matched at first, but the longer the fight lasts, the more Hunter struggles to keep up. Who's that other man? However, you mean blonde? However, the Russian it's clear that he's not just a random guest or some opportunistic thief. So maybe he's also another evil guy? It will be an easy mission, they said. No one cares about that old rock anymore, they said. Why does the KGB even want with it? What? Why they want with it? Maybe what? Don't you commies dislike everything that may be worth more than a ruble? Be quiet. That diamond is the property of the Soviet government. I've come to take it back. They can take it. My plan was to steal the guy, so maybe while they're fighting, I should do what I came here for. Global and the KGB. I knew there was something odd about those two. You have a good gut feeling, I guess. Good thing that I'm not here for the diamond. Let them fight over it. Well, we get away with show. Exactly. I walk over to where the henchman is and nudge him awake with my food. Imagine this. Nudge him. Okay. He stands up, holding the side of his head with a pained expression. His nose is bleeding from Hunter's punch and he has a split lip. He's pretty lucky that he didn't get trampled by people on their way out. Ouch. When people panic, shit can happen. Put yourself together. We need to get Schultz and get out of here before the agent notices. Can you help me get him to the vehicle? Yes. Go tell the others to get out and get everything ready. I'll hold Schultz back in the meantime. He nods and goes running to where the other henchmen are. They still look confused from the grenade, but they are in well enough shape to pick up their guns and head to these dudes even had guns. This is a failure. How are you gonna talk about your job? This is a failure, man. Speaking of Schultz, where is he? Professor didn't leave with the rest of the people. Instead, he has been watching both men fight over the diamond, which is bizarre, don't you think? He obviously cares more about it than his own safety. He's even too distracted to notice us as I approach from behind. Professor, if you would be so kind to come with me. Schultz turns around, alarmed. I'm about to grab him when there's a loud noise right outside the auditorium. I feel the floor move and I lose my step. The room quickly begins to fill with smoke and dust, and I cover my mouth and nose. I actually start to see the smoke. Can you? What the hell? It sounded like a bomb, but how? Never mind. I'll figure that out later. Right now, Schultz is more important. Smoke gets thicker by the second and soon becomes impossible to distinguish anything more than a couple of meters away. I have just enough visibility to see two blurry figures through the smoke, each running towards the exit through different rows. One of them must be Schultz. The only people left here besides me and the henchmen were the professor and both agents, who I'm pretty sure are still on the stage. Damn, it's too dark. I can't see their faces. Boss, where are you? Over here. Okay, between the two of us, it should be enough to incapacitate Schultz and carry him outside. Once there, the others will take care of the rest. I start to run towards the man in black suit, in green suit. Why? Your henchmen are in white. Black. Did we see the professor? Because never mind. I tackle the man in the black suit and I keep him on the ground long enough for the henchman to take out the bag and rope. I bet he's not Professor. I don't even think we've seen Professor in the picture, did we? He puts the bag over the Professor's dreamboat. I just gotta... never mind. You saw it anyway. He puts the bag over the Professor. So it's a Professor! And ties his hand and feet. He struggles a lot more than I had expected, and I think it's the Professor still. A lot more than I had expected, and we end up having to knock him out before being able to drag him out of the building. Some effort, we get the Professor out of the building, and all the way to where we'd left the vehicle. After putting him inside the trunk, we head back to the base. While the henchman drives, I take off my suit and just keep my uniform on. It's just as dirty as the suit, but at least I'm more comfortable now. Fortunately, the Professor remains unconscious for the whole duration of the trip, so we don't have any more seabags in that regard. So you didn't check out who you actually steal. Never mind. Sphinx Slayer, currently serving as Dr. Cyclops' base of operation. Dr. Cyclops is us. You forgotten. When we get to the base, the other henchmen hurry to help us carry Schultz to the laboratory. They put him down to the chair that we prepared for him, loosening up the rope slightly so that he'll be as comfortable as situation allows. I originally considered putting him in a cell, but I want to make it clear that he doesn't have a choice about helping my uncle while he's here. That didn't go exactly as planned, but you know what they say. What really matters are the results. Yeah, I hope you can lie about how everything went. Despite everything, we managed to get Schultz here. I wonder if I chose to steal the diamond, how everything would go. Would I fail? Congratulations, everyone! You can leave now. The henchmen looked really relieved to hear me say it. I think they were worried that I was going to blame them for what happened back at the museum. Which, to be fair, I was ready to do before we got our hands on the professor. They nod quietly as they all leave the laboratory, except for the henchman that helped me bring him here, who stays behind in case I need anything. I still need to figure out what that's kind of not cool. Like, I hope that henchman gets more paid because he stays extra at work. Okay. I still need to figure out what the agents were doing back there, and why we didn't hear about it. That can wait until later. Right now, this is about me. Schultz raises his head as he regains consciousness. He seems rather sluggish at first, probably from the combination of the smoke and being stuffed into a truck for a couple of hours, but then he straightens up. I lean over the professor, arms crossed behind my back, making sure that I'll be the first thing he sees. I may not be physically imposing, but like this, even I managed to look intimidating. With a nod, I gestured to the henchman to remove the hood from over. Yeah, he's still in the hood. I knew it. I'm sure you are wondering why I brought you here. Professor Schultz? How did this happen to me? I made my mistake. If it was men in the green, it would be a blonde guy. I don't get it. How does it work? They were fighting. I still don't, I was thinking it would be a random person, not one of these. But that makes more sense, I guess. And when the hood comes off, I freeze. The man on the chair isn't Schultz. It's the American agent. Yeah, you're starting the war, I guess. He seems confused as he turns his head to look at the henchman, but as soon as he sees me, he grins. Alright, you got me there. I wasn't expecting this. I'm actually an evil person, don't smile, I can kill you here, so... I take a couple of steps back, doing my best to remain calm until I'm certain that I'm out of Agent Hunter's sight. I'm pretty sure a few steps wouldn't be enough, unless he's very bad at sight, like me. The henchman follows me on the way out, though he has a much harder time hiding his nervousness. I imagine. Once we are at the entrance, I grab the henchman by the shoulders and begin to push him in the general direction of my uncle's office. Go call Sphinx. Tell him it's urgent. Go call the guards too. Nobody goes in or out of this room until he's here. Yes, sir. And get something to restrain him with. If he can move a finger, he's moving too much. I stay outside of the laboratory while I wait, occasionally looking back inside to check on Hunter. The fact that he's so calm doesn't make me feel any better. As I wait for my uncle, I end up pacing in circles in front of the door before realizing it. Dude, you're fact. Though I managed to keep a serious face rather than one of outright panic, my agitation eventually wins and I begin to bite my nails. Oh, how old are you? How could have we messed up so badly? My uncle is going to kill me. Or worse yet, he's going to send me overseas and make a role in college. That's definitely not as fun as being an evil guy. As soon as I hear someone approach, I make myself stop. It's the henchman, followed by a couple of guards carrying a metal table with them. It's nothing fancy, but it will do. They acknowledge me with a silent nod as they walk by on their way inside, which I return with as much confidence as I can. The guards put the table down in the middle of the room next to where Agent Hunter is sitting and secured to the floor. They untie Agent's legs, then pretty much throw him on top of the... I like where it goes. He lets out a groan when he hits the metal and the guards strap him down. With Hunter properly secured, they each take their position at the opposite sides of the table. Cyclops. So deep in thought that I didn't notice my uncle approach until he's right next to me, and even then I didn't react right away. Gigan. Hearing him speak almost makes me jump on the surprise. I was told you needed me down here urgently. What happened? Are you hurt? Shit happens, Uncle. I knew you shouldn't have left. I shouldn't have left you go alone. He puts a hand on my back to make me straighten up, and he begins to spin me around to check me over for any sort of injuries. Oh, this is so sweet. That may look like a mess from everything that happened, but I'm not hurt. No, I'm fine. Just... Uncle, stop it. I have to push his hands away to get him to let go of me. He looks like he's about to grab me again, so I step away. There might be the slightest chance that you were right and I didn't think this as thoroughly as I had thought. You know that I told the League I was going to ask for a ransom for the people at the museum, right? Makes a pause, almost as if he was having trouble following the conversation, or rather as if he could tell exactly where it's heading but still hoped to be wrong about it. That was your plan, yes. I thought how impressive it would look if in my application if I managed to pull off even a bigger crime without anyone knowing about it until the very moment it happened. Kidnapping Schultz would get me more money and acknowledgement than anything I did at the museum would, especially since keeping secrets from the League is so difficult in the first place. It was supposed to be a surprise for you, too. For you too. Just imagine Schultz as your assistant. He'd help you with all the incomplete projects you've lying around. You didn't. I did. Almost did. Anyway, there were some complications. A couple of agents were there, one from Global and one from the KGB. Somehow we ended up bringing the Global agent here instead of Schultz. Takes a deep breath. I can tell that he's really angry, but he's also trying to calm himself down for my sake. Or he leans to the side just enough to be able to see the agent from over my shoulder. Are you absolutely sure that the League wasn't aware that you were planning to kidnap Schultz? Absolutely. And there's nobody that could let them know. Not a single... Well, my henchman? No one that I know of. I mean, some of the henchmen know, but they won't be telling anybody anytime soon. Good. Here's what you'll do. You're going to head to the office as soon as you can and call the examiner you were assigned to. Tell them that the bomb threat was actually a distraction to capture a global agent. You were successful and you are going to deliver him to the League in exchange of becoming a member. Even if they turn the offer down, which I doubt they will, having captured him in the first place should be enough to get you accepted. It's essentially the same as what you were planning, but with the agent instead of Schultz. That's perfect. Thank you, Uncle. I don't know what I'd do without you. He frowns as if he crosses his arms. Perhaps I shouldn't have sounded so relieved. I've got a few ideas. Anyway, don't thank me just yet. You and I will have a long talk about this. This is not the time. First, you need to get all of this sorted out. And I really wonder how our character is gonna do that. Can we save? Because I think that's the time we call it a day. Ah, okay, I see. Here? Yeah, that's a little bit complicated, but we have apparently quite 24 slots. I think it's more than needed, really. Okay, so I think that's it, guys. The story may not suit everyone, because, yeah, it has some um, elements that probably wouldn't suit some people. But I think it's still interesting. I wish there were more jokes, but the story itself is funny enough already. So I guess I would like to know how the whole thing enrolls. But I still have lots of games to play, and there's also games that I'd like to try, just like this one, like make one video and see what it is about. So don't know if I'll ever get to the point of playing through this one, but if you're interested, yeah, this game seems to be fun. Of course, if you are into novel kind of games, because that's also not a thing for everyone. But it's nice to relax and just, you know, read some stuff from the screen um, sometimes. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you in some other of my videos. Bye.